Hello, everybody, and welcome to Expert Examiner IELTS, and welcome to 2025. My name is Glyn, and in this video, we're going to do some more writing feedback. We have an IELTS writing task 2 essay to check out, and we start, as always, by reading the question. I think such a high percentage of candidates really struggle with understanding what the question is, what the question demands of them, how they should structure an essay, and really reading that question is so important. Even super high level candidates sometimes drop a lot of points because they don't read or they don't fully address the question. So let's have a look at this question. Governments should spend money on railways rather than roads. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? I don't know if this is a real IELTS question. It seems a little bit basic, a little bit, yeah, lacking in detail. But okay, governments, they should, not they do or they have done or they can, but they should. It is better. It is a good idea. Governments should spend money on railways rather than roads. So the idea is that governments have an option, a decision to make about where they should put their money. And they have two options, railways or roads, railways or roads. And according to this sentence, government should choose railways. It is better, according to this statement, it is better to spend money on railways, better to spend money on railways than to spend money on roads. Question is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? And again, with these to what extent questions, you can take the middle position. You can partly agree, partly disagree. You can be on the fence. But it's much easier if you just choose either agree or disagree. Agree or disagree. That's so much easier for you, so much easier for the examiner to understand your position if you just choose one, agree or disagree. And so when we look at a structure for this, let's say you're a candidate and you agree that governments should spend money on railways rather than roads. Your introduction will be some background information about this subject, about, government spending or transportation, some reference to the question that there is this, debate over whether money should go to railways or roads. And also in the introduction, I want to see your position. I don't want to know why you hold this position in the introduction, but I want to know what your position is. Do you agree that money should be spent on railways, or do you think the opposite, that money should be spent on roads? Body paragraph 1 then, if you agree that money should be spent on railways rather than roads. Body paragraph 1, after the introduction, this will be reason 1 why railways deserve the money, plus an explanation, examples, evidence. Body paragraph 2 will be reason 2 why railways deserve this money, or why roads don't deserve this money, and an extension, a development. And then in your conclusion, you'll have a quick, short summary of your main points and some type of reflective comment, maybe, and therefore governments should think carefully about how they blah, 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 blah. But okay, let's see what the candidate has. The first thing we always want to check with a candidate, of course, is that they have 4 paragraphs, or at least that they have suitable number of paragraphs. So we get 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but probably you notice something. The balance is off here. The longest paragraph is the introduction. The longest paragraph should not be your introduction. This is the first bit of advice that I can give. Don't make your introduction or your conclusion the longest paragraph. Your body paragraph should be equally weighted. So probably you want something like 20% for paragraph 1, 30%, 30%, 20%. That's how it should look. Your body paragraphs should be longer than your introduction and your conclusion paragraphs. It really amazes me that there are candidates who still don't know this. They still think that introduction paragraphs should be the longest paragraph. It's incredible for me to know this. But okay, many of us, of course, are in different parts of our IELTS journey. So to me, already, I would think that this candidate hasn't done much or any preparation really about how to write an essay. But okay, how many words does the candidate have? That's also something we want to check. Ooh, that looks close to the 250. So 250 words exactly. So, okay, you have to write at least 200 words. I still think probably it's better to write, 280, 290. But okay, 250, fine. Let's see what the candidate has then in the introduction. So, government. Just one government or governments or the government should make railway system better than roads. Okay, we just start with a position here. There's no background information, just governments should make railways system. Railway system isn't a collocation. Railway systems maybe, and it's not about making them better than roads, it's about where they should spend money. So it's not about making the railway system actually better than roads necessarily, it's just about where they should spend money. I am totally agree. I am agree. Agree is a verb in English. We don't say I am totally agree with the statement, comma, because trains are much faster and can carry more passengers with a cheap cost. This isn't where we put our reasons for why we hold the positions we hold. The body paragraphs of an essay, that's where you explain the reasons why you have a position. Okay, many countries in the world are developing their railway systems. Now we seem to get background information, so the work isn't logically organized here. This will hurt coherence and cohesion. Many countries in the world are developing their railway system advanced and affordable. What does that mean? To develop something advanced and affordable, in ways that make them advanced and affordable, perhaps. But at least, affordable is a good word here. Because rail transport system, just one, the rail transport system maybe? Not sure rail transport system are. System is a singular noun. We get plural verb. System are. Speedy than cars. Speedier, but faster, so speedy than cars. We get the wrong comparative form here. So this is already becoming, difficult to read because of all of these language mistakes. Because rail transport system are speedy than cars on the road. So we have a because clause, which is standing as an independent clause, but because clauses can't be independent. We can't have sentences that are just because I was late. We have because I was late, my friend was angry, or my friend was angry because I was late. But we can't have because I was late or because rail transport system are speedier than cars on the road as one sentence. So, yeah, that doesn't work. Then, whoa. Then do not face heavy traffic to slow down its speed. So we are losing coherence badly here. Now I'm confused. I would have to reread this to understand what the candidate is saying. For example, NS 700S Shinkansen train in has Japan has a top speed 306, a top speed of, okay. It also has active suspension. Okay, all of this talking about the Shinkansen train's features, specifications, characteristics is completely irrelevant. Yeah, this just isn't an introduction. This isn't an introduction to an essay. Really, it isn't. But okay. Let's keep going. Furthermore, railway networks, maybe? Railway networks can carry more travelers to their destinations, comma. That comma should be connected to that S. We don't use space comma in English. Which helps them to save time on the heavy traffic routes and roads. Helps them to save time. What does it mean to save time? I saved time on the heavy traffic routes on roads. I kind of understand what it means, but the language is just falling down a little bit. I understand that the candidate here is saying that Because the railway network can carry a lot of travellers, it means that they can do things faster. But this isn't a furthermore position because you've already said speedy than here. So I don't, yeah. Anyway, the train fare are much affordable. Much affordable? Very affordable? Much more affordable than petrol or gas? I don't know. The train fare are much affordable. Comma, that's why it should be full stop, and that's why is a little bit informal. That's why more people tend to choose. More people tend chose inside or outside the country through railway. Okay. The train fare are much affordable. That's why more people tend chose inside or outside the country through railroad rather than fossil fuels, cars on highway. Okay, there's some language that's, relevant here. Fossil fuels, cool. But as a sentence, I just, it's difficult. It really is difficult to read. It puts a big strain on the reader. The train fare are much more affordable. That's why more people tend chose inside or outside the country through railroad rather than fossil fuels, car on highway. I just, yeah. For example, again, get that comma. Owigo is a low-cost company that offers reasonable trips in France and Spain. This isn't an example of a. So when we want examples that support your argument. So, you mentioned that there's a company that offers low-cost, reasonable, or even a low-cost company that offers reasonable trips. I don't know what reasonable trips are in France and Spain. So the existence of one company doesn't count as really good development of an idea. Okay. Next, there are some drawbacks, misspelt. There are some drawbacks of not supporting the official's work. I don't know what the official's work is. I have no idea at all. On roads, because the vehicles on road surface are too much time consuming and are not environment friendly. So environmentally friendly, we want the vehicles on road surface. I don't know why on road surface are too much time consuming. So too time consuming. I don't know what the central argument is. I don't know what the central point of this paragraph is. As the automobiles are the source of CO2 in the atmosphere. Okay, cool, in the atmosphere, good stuff. Comma, which is both hazardous for our health and global temperature. Okay, I kind of get the point that, cars are bad because they produce CO2, greenhouse gases. And that's dangerous for our health and global temperatures. Kind of get the main point, but this is only at best what we call underlying coherence. So we have coherence where we understand something, and underlying coherence means we read it and then we have to interpret and go, that's maybe probably what the candidate means, right? And so if you only have underlying coherence, this gives you a maximum of 5 for coherence and cohesion. But I think it might even be lower than that. Let's get to the conclusion. To sum up, okay, good. We get some good signposting language. To sum up, the network of trains are much quicker that can save our value. Are much quicker that can. Don't know what's going on here. The network of trains are much quicker that can save our valuable time and have a capacity of more riders as compared to. In comparison with, or just compared to, but in comparison with, maybe, other transports such as bikes and cars. The consumer can have an inexpensive journey to any place around the territory. Which territory? This reference the territory. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so there's kind of an attempt to summarize the main ideas, right? The candidate's main idea is a little bit repetitive. Trains are faster and cheaper. But there's no real development there. So let's have a look. Task achievement. Yeah, TA, I can only say 5 for this. I had a look at the candidate's writing. The candidate sent me this writing about a week ago, maybe even longer than a week ago now, but I hurt my back, unfortunately, and I couldn't sit and I couldn't make any videos. And I remember giving the candidate, I think 6 for task achievement. I don't remember, but looking back at it now, it certainly looks like a 5. There are main ideas, but it's not always clear, and the ideas just aren't developed well enough at all. So you present some ideas, but they are not really developed. Coherence and cohesion, I have to go with 4 for this. So good that there are 4 paragraphs, but this introduction, this isn't an introduction to an academic essay. You have no background, or the background information comes after you've presented an argument, and then you start giving reasons for why you believe what you believe, and then you move on. So I don't really see a logical presentation of the points, and also you only have at best underlying coherence, where I have to reread a lot of what you say just to understand what your main points are. Lexical resource, I think, probably is a 5. There are some good bits of language, like environment friendly instead of environmentally friendly. Okay, you're close. Some things I'm not sure, like on the road surface. I don't know why you have that. Officials with a capital O. We have some spelling mistakes. Reasonable, drawback, choose. Lots of those spelling mistakes. And grammatical range and accuracy, maybe 5 or maybe even 4. I think maybe even 4 for grammatical range and accuracy. There is consistent strain on the reader. The reader often has to read and reread and reread to understand, right? For example, NS 700's Shinkansen train in has Japan. That sentence is just so confusing grammatically. You have these, like, this because sentence which stands alone, and then the reader has to reread it to understand where this because sentence links to. So yeah, those grammatical mistakes cause a lot of rereading. So yeah, for me, for this. So overall, for me, this deserves a score of band 4.5, which is intermediate B1 level, and I think that is fair. I don't think the candidate does have B2 level here. Good thing is that the candidate is trying to organize their work into 4 paragraphs. Great, well done. Couple of things for you to remember. The introduction should not be your longest paragraph. The introduction should not be your longest paragraph. The introduction should not be your longest paragraph. We also don't want to make our arguments and explain our arguments in the introduction. But I really don't want to give too many tips for the candidate here. The tip that I will give to the candidate is, firstly, you have to learn how to structure an essay, right? It's obvious to me that you don't know what an academic essay is, like what information goes at the beginning, what information goes in the middle, and what information goes at the end. And it's okay that you don't know that, but you have to learn this. Secondly, try to be much, much simpler with your ideas, right? Like one body paragraph, simple one, might be something like, firstly, trains are better for the environment than cars. That's such a nice, simple topic sentence for a paragraph, right? Firstly, trains are better for the environment than cars. Now I can explain this. Cars create a lot of greenhouse gases, like CO2. So I'm explaining this. Whereas trains, blah, blah, blah. Whereas trains produce much less. right? These are just simple bits of language. And I feel like maybe you're trying, maybe because it's an IELTS essay, maybe you're trying a little bit too hard to use difficult language, and maybe that's why the coherence breaks down. I don't know. But you have to find a way to make your language much, much simpler. If your real level of English is B1, and it seems that it is B1, you have to make your language much, much simpler, because when you try to translate the thoughts in your first language into English, you can't do that because you don't have the linguistic skills in English to translate your complicated ideas. Probably in your mind, you have a lot of, sophisticated, smart, intelligent ideas, but you can't present those in English because your language level isn't there. And that's okay. It just means that you have to start thinking about making simpler ideas, making simpler arguments and explaining them. Because at the moment, this coherence and cohesion is quite bad. But okay, for me, the score is 4.5. Let me know if you agree or disagree. But I think, it is B1, right? It is intermediate. I don't think anyone would probably disagree with that. Okay, so a fairly short video. I am getting back into making videos, a lot more videos coming this week. If you'd like me to check your IELTS writing, or if you'd like a free speaking test with feedback, then you can request this on my Telegram channel. A link to this Telegram channel is given in the description below. But nice to see you all again. Hope you had a wonderful New Year celebration, and see you all again soon with some more videos. But for now, bye-bye.